Jonah Jonathan, and welcome once again to the Jazz Musician's Voice. Today I've got the wonderful opportunity of presenting an interview I did with jazz bassist Marty Jaffe, son of famous pianist Andy Jaffe. Marty has a lot of insight, and we talk about the bass and various other topics. I hope you guys will enjoy this interview, and please stay tuned for future interviews. Ladies and gentlemen, today I have the wonderful opportunity to interview Marty Jaffe, wonderful virtuoso bassist. And, Marty, we met a long time ago. I met your dad when I was, I think, like 14 years old. And he was telling me that his son was going to get started on bass. And, tell us a little bit about how you got on the bass and, you studied classical technique. You won some concerto competitions,
You did your homework, man. Damn.
tell me about that,
Wow. So as you know, my dad is a musician, and actually I think you've met the rest of my family too. Like everybody in my family is a musician.
Yeah.
So I have two older siblings. My brother Lysander plays violin and viola and is a great vocalist, and my oldest sister Ciora is a classical flautist, and my mom is also has been a professional musician as a pianist and singer, and also as a trumpet player, but now she's a guitar player. So I just grew up surrounded by music, being the youngest in this family, and definitely gravitated towards jazz eventually. But the thing that got me started on bass actually was that my godmother, Lynn Lovell, do you know her?
I'm not sure I do.
Yeah, so she's a bassist and educator in the Pioneer Valley. She's based in Hadley now, I think. And
Okay.
And so she and my parents were really good friends. And not only is she a bassist and teacher, but she rents out basses to people. So it's like her entire apartment, as long as I've known her, has always been filled with like 10 basses. I would just go over there as a little kid and she'd have like 10 basses everywhere and all this amazing bass artwork and little bass trinkets and things. Like, she really loved the bass. She co-founded this Western New England double bass society, which it hasn't been active for a long time, but they used to do like a festival every other year and stuff and bring in cool guest artists. And so it just felt like a very natural thing. Like, no one else in my family did this thing, and she was somebody who helped kind of raise me, and she was close to the family, and she's a bass teacher. And she even had a 1/10 size bass that I could start to play on when I was 6 years old. I don't know if you've seen those, but they're very small.
Small basses, yeah.
Yeah. So she had this little thing, and so she had this whole studio of students that were, some of them very young, like my age, like 6, and then all the way up to teenagers and adults, and so I just remember being in some recitals there where it would be like me playing some very beginner stuff, and then some very beginner repertoire, and then older students playing concerti and things. So it kind of created this nice environment where I was really just inspired and had all these role models on the bass, but also in other areas of music. So
Yeah, and I remember, I came over to your house a few times to play with you and your dad.
Yep.
At that point, you were already master reader. You were reading off the stuff. I think I brought an Oscar Pettiford book, and you were reading off the tunes.
Good memory, man. Wow.
Yeah. But
was that Volker book with all the Oscar Pettiford transcriptions?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
And you were just reading right through it.
Yeah.
I would assume, starting at a young age, that helped you. But I also remember you learned piano under your dad. For people who don't know, watch the Andy Jaffe interview. Marty's dad is a very famous jazz pianist and educator. Tell us a little bit about how piano helped you on the bass.
Yeah, it's a great question. So I think it's been huge, and it still is, because as you said, my dad is a great educator and pianist, and he wasn't super proactive about teaching me piano, but he would show me little things here and there, like, here's an exercise to work on your drop 2 voicings, or your I forget even what some of this stuff is called, but your voicings where you play the 3rd, 5th, seventh and ninth, and then you'd work on voice leading these 2/5s through these different progressions and with these different inversions. And I just kind of ran with it because I liked the sound of it, and it was just satisfying to be able to hear all of the harmony and the whole melody and everything, in the song so completely. So I just spent a lot of time playing through these exercises and then learning a bunch of standards, learning a bunch of tunes, kind of trying to implement these things he was showing me about, voice leading on the piano. And what I found is that helped give me a really much more complete understanding of the songs that I was learning. Because it wasn't just learning it from the perspective of the bass, but it also was really learning the melodies and learning how the inner harmony and inner voices of the harmony related to each other and moved. And so I think that helped my ears a lot. And I also think it helped me understand like solo language better, because it's so much of it is based on, voice leading, the voice leading of different chord progressions. And so, yeah, when I started to transcribe Bird and, other horn soloists and things like that, even bass solos, it gave me a framework for understanding, okay, this is why these notes make sense here. And I could start to kind of hear it. So I think that helped me a lot, develop like a more advanced like harmonic sensibility, and also just, yeah. So that's short answer, but
And you went to the Litchfield Jazz Camp, right?
Mm-hmm.
You were playing piano there. People were amazed that you were.
Wow, good memory. Damn. I didn't play in any ensembles there, but there were like one or two moments when people like would hear me just messing around and oh wow, you play piano.
Yeah.
But that's wow, that's funny. Did Marcus McLaren tell you that or something?
That might have been Marcus telling me that,
because he tells a story about that.
Yeah,
that's funny. Yeah,
Marcus was one of my teachers at William Patterson, and
right.
We have a few videos with Marcus. He was
cool.
teaching the Niels Henning Orthrud Peterson, 3-finger bass technique.
Wow.
So
damn, I gotta ask him about that.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
You should check out the video because he's teaching that.
Wow.
But
in the interview you did with him, you guys talked about that?
Yeah, he did a separate video, and that video has like 20-something thousand views.
Wow. Damn. Okay, cool.
Yeah. But tell us about winning these competitions, because you've won a few competitions. So tell us about your award-winning bass player.
Thank you. Are you talking about the concerto competitions, or
the concerto competition, and then there was a jazz competition as well, right?
Right. Yeah. So I went to high school actually with your sisters, as you know.
Yeah, Northfield Mount Hermon.
Yeah. And they have a concerto competition there for their high school orchestra. They have a pretty decent, orchestra program there. And I enjoyed that. I always loved playing classical music, and because early on, I was so involved with all these jazz opportunities that I really relished the opportunity to play like an orchestra or a chamber orchestra or something like that. And I always tried to prioritize that because I just enjoyed it. And so I was studying with the classical teacher there at NMH, this guy Yasu Suzuki, and we were working on the Dragonetti concerto. I'm sure you know. And so I auditioned there with the accompanist to play that with the high school, with the NMH orchestra, and I won that competition. I think I tried out one year, the year before, with a different piece and didn't win, but then the next year, I think my junior year, I did win, and I got to play that with the NMH orchestra. And then there was another like local regional orchestra. I want to say the Wyndham Orchestra or something. They're based in, I want to say Brattleboro or somewhere in southern Vermont like that. And yeah, I also played Dragonetti with them that year. So those are the two times I got to play a concerto with an orchestra, which was a very cool experience, and I'm very grateful I got to have it, because I never do anything like that now. But yeah,
you came to school. You came to Juilliard and Columbia University, right? It was a program.
Yep.
And you got to study with certain cats like talk about studying with Ron, because I want to hear
Yeah.
what he taught you. And
Right.
I
I
studied
know.
with Ron, you know,
I know you did. Yeah, I know. We've never really talked about that because I remember you. I think you were one of the first people when I was younger that was telling me you have to study with Ron, and this
yeah,
is what
yeah,
he's working on. And I remember you showing me, we would just go through those Simandl etudes together,
yeah,
and you
yeah,
were showing me,
exactly.
play your F major scale really slow, and you got to work on the sound and play these triads on these blues and everything.
Yeah,
And so it was a lot of that, for sure. Like he's very consistent with his system and his approach to teaching. But it was great. I just couldn't believe what a great teacher he was, honestly, because
yeah,
it wasn't great because it was Ron, and he's like this hero that you idolize and you spend time with. But it was great because he was so organized and efficient, and pushed me so hard. Every week it was like, so much work to do, just so technical etudes. And how there's the whole system where he tells you to white out all the fingerings that are suggested and
yeah. White
come
out.
up with your own
Yeah,
fingerings and give him the copy so he can look at it. It's just so systematic. And
you would be,
somewhere
you would come like, Mr. Jonathan, you just set a standard. Now I don't want to see any less than that
right,
standard.
exactly. No,
You know,
that was it. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And he really lived by that. Like if you played something well, then it was like, okay, on to the next
on to the
level,
next one. I
Yeah,
don't want to see any less than what you did in that
yeah.
time.
I mean, it's really profound like that. That's what I took away from that, I think, more than anything, was just like his integrity and his commitment to excellence. And just at all times, it's just he's like still one of the most mentally sharp people that I've ever met.
Yeah, yeah,
And even hearing him now, like it still comes through in his playing. Like every note is so much intent behind every single note that he plays.
yeah,
And I'm just like, man, if I can ever get to like a quarter of that level of just intent, that would be amazing. But he's a special guy. Yeah.
yeah. And talk about some of the other people you studied with. Uh, you studied with Wynton Marsalis at some point, right?
Yeah, so Winston became the artistic director of Juilliard when I was the student there. And yeah, he definitely had a big influence because he basically reorganized the whole curriculum at Juilliard. Uh, and I think a lot of it actually was based on uh, sort of ideas that he had, developed with like Phil Schaap and Stanley Crouch, kind of talk about the history of jazz, and what he thought were some of the important cornerstones for young musicians to understand about how it developed. So there was definitely more of an emphasis on like music from the 1920s and stuff that I maybe hadn't checked out as much. So we had people like Dr. Michael White come in from New Orleans and sort of coach us playing music by people like Jelly Roll and Buddy Bolden, and trying to understand some of those early styles. And Phil Schaap, who I know he was
Yeah,
he was your
studied with
mentor
him
as well.
quite a bit. Yeah,
He was really he thought it was really important for us to understand like King Oliver, those 1923 recordings. He was like, you really got to check these out. And and so that was cool because I don't know if I would have been sent in that direction, but it's beautiful music. And I think did give me a foundation for just like understanding everything that came after it.
yeah.
So yeah.
And for people who are not familiar, I mean, you're quite a first call working bassist in New
Oh,
York,
thanks,
playing with a lot
man.
of people. Uh, let's talk about some of the people you've been playing with.
Okay.
I'm gonna let you
Okay. Okay.
discuss some of your favorites because you play with a lot of people.
Okay, sure. Well, this isn't happening so much in New York, but it's more of a person I tour with lately. But a big highlight of the last couple of years has been starting to work with Marcus Roberts and his
Wow, that's
trio,
great.
and also his octet or nonet. Yeah, he has been a really important mentor figure to a lot of people, but it's just part of how he works. He's so he's really giving and really he's really honest, you know, about I'm sure you've had, you know, friends of, or maybe you've met him yourself.
Yeah, you
You
know,
heard him young.
believe it or not, your dad had Marcus
That's
Roberts
right. That's
come
right.
to Williams College to do like
That's
a
right.
master
Yeah.
class, and
Yeah.
so
Yeah. Yeah.
I did get that chance a little bit.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's cool.
yeah,
Got it. So yeah, you know how he is, but he's very, like, playing with him, it really keeps me on my toes because he's so particular about like sound and, you know, phrasing, and he'll stop the group during somebody's solo and say, you know, Marty, I need you to accent beats 2 and 4 more, or I need you to play with, I need you to connect your notes more, or I need you to have more resonance in the way that you're playing, or I need you to really like express more blues feeling in the way that you're playing, you know, and it's really like, it's really this intense level of focus on the way that we're all playing together also. You know, he's always doing these exercises where people like play a really simple like time together and to really focus on how they're connecting together. And he's a very philosophical guy, and he has a lot of beautiful insights about, you know, what what the music can, how the way the music operates, how it can be relevant to all of us in our daily lives and teach us things about how to work together in a community, and how to, you know, how it can teach us how to be a democracy, you know, those kind of ideas that Wynton talks about, where like
yeah.
it's you know, we all have our individual voice that we're expressing, but we also have to make sacrifices and support each other in order for the betterment of the whole. I feel like he really embodies all of those things and the way he plays and teaches. So yeah, that's been really special.
And you're touring a lot of places around the world. Where are some of your favorite destinations?
Yeah, great question. I mean, Japan made a huge impression a few times. It's been a while since I've been there, but I don't know. Have you ever gotten to go there?
I haven't gone to Japan.
Yeah,
You know, I want to go to Japan at some point.
I think you'd love it.
You
Yeah,
know,
yeah, yeah.
the closest I've been to Japan is Hawaii, where I was born. You know.
I didn't know you were born there. Wow,
Yeah,
that's cool. Dang.
but
Yeah,
you know, no, I saw recently you went to London.
that's right. That's right. Yeah, we
Yeah.
played at Royal Festival Hall with the London Philharmonia, I think that's what the orchestra was, and that was with Marcus's, you know, trio. We were playing Rhapsody in Blue, and we're doing a lot of touring of that, the arrangement coming up, because it's this year, 2024 is the centennial of Rhapsody in Blue. So
And talk
yeah,
about your dad is doing a lot of stuff in Taiwan. Have you been to
right.
Taiwan?
Just once, very briefly.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, yeah. He brought us over. He brought his band over like in 2015, I think. After he recorded his album Arc, and I think it was he brought over 6 or 7 of us, and yeah, we did a couple master classes and a performance at the Taipei Jazz Festival in this outdoor park there. And yeah, it was great to get to see a tiny window into everything he's doing there. But I
Yeah.
only got a little taste of it because I mean, I know he's been going over there at least 10 or 12 years or something
Yeah,
every
he's
year.
over there quite a bit. I see.
Mm-hmm.
Follow his Facebook. You know, he's
He
posting
loves
about
it. Yeah.
being over there.
Yeah.
And you know, let's talk about um as a bassist. You know, you're kind of I'm not gonna you know sugarcoat it. I mean, you're virtuoso on the bass.
Thanks, man. I
You
appreciate that.
you use the whole bass in your playing.
Thank you.
Talk about like you play with John Davis at
Yeah.
Mesro, and
Yeah.
you know he played with Jocko.
He did. Yeah.
I'm gonna be interviewing him.
Oh,
I
wow.
think next week we're gonna talk
What?
about
That's
that.
awesome.
Yeah,
That's so cool. Oh man, I gotta check that out.
yeah.
Oh man.
Because
Thanks for letting me know
you know
about that.
I saw some of those early videos of him playing with Jocko. You know that's
Right. Right. No, it's
does
super cool.
he like add any of that on your playing? You know.
Well, it's interesting because he we do play some of Jocko's repertoire when we play together. He loves that tune. What is that tune in 3/4? Uh, what is that? Three Views of a Secret or
Oh
something?
yeah, previously
Yeah,
seen.
so yeah, he loves the repertoire, which is, Jocko has so many beautiful tunes. Uh, and then sometimes there are one or two times when we've played with him where I've started to throw in a couple Jocko-isms in the bass lines, and you could tell his face just like lights up. And he hears the or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And he's just like, okay. But no, I gotta ask him more about that. I sometimes I feel bad, like, you know, just only asking him about Jocko because he's done so many things, but
Yeah.
you can tell he loves the music, and I think they were pretty good friends and maybe even lived together or something. So for a period of time, not sure.
I just have seen like him on some videos, and
Yeah.
I reached out to him. I said, could we talk about Jocko? He said, sure. So we're gonna try
cool.
that.
I'm gonna enjoy watching that. Thanks for letting me know. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's
And
great though. He's such a free player. I mean, I feel like, John, when I play with him, it's always exciting because it feels like the music could go in any direction, and he's got such a sense for drama, and he's,
sure.
Yeah. It's highs and lows, so it's great. Yeah.
And for younger people might be inspired, like talk about you're living in New York and how you're making that work with touring, and New York is not the easiest place to live. Let's just put it that way.
Right, that's very true. Yeah, and it is a source of stress for sure. Just how expensive it is to live here, and all that. But yeah, if you can find a way to make it work, I would say that a good amount of the money that I earn is from touring out of town. But that there's also a lot of opportunities to work in town too. Maybe more so than any other place. There's just so many venues, and even though a lot of venues have closed, and that is definitely disappointing, there's also new venues that are opening. Like I'm noticing a lot of new venues are opening in Brooklyn now. And I kind of get this sense that a lot of musicians have just moved that way, because it's very hard to like stay in Manhattan. So musicians are sort of moving different places, and then the venues are also moving. So, but some of these new venues are cool. I don't always make it down because I'm so far. I'm like in Harlem, but these places like Ornithology and Bayou and
Ornithology is Mitch Borden's club, right?
It is. Yeah.
He was at Smalls for the longest time, and then he left Smalls, and all of a sudden there's a new club.
Right. Yeah, it's popping. People love that place. And they always have really great people playing there, and so I enjoy when I get to go out there.
And any new projects with your dad? Are you doing anything?
Good question. I don't know of anything with my dad yet. Knowing him, he probably is thinking of, composing some new music, but he hasn't really formulated it. Yeah.
The funny thing is, he teaches at the Vermont College of Fine Arts.
Right.
And one of my best friends, his name is Edward. He runs the IT at that program. So
no way. Oh, cool.
He has run into your dad a few times in like Pennsylvania.
Oh, cool.
Oh, I've known Jonah since he was young.
Yeah.
So it is a small world, But
wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, definitely. Thanks for speaking with us. I'll probably touch base with you in another year or two, or
totally
see what you're doing.
Thanks.
And keep up the good work.
Appreciate it, man.
I remember when your dad called me and said, "Oh, show Marty a few things on the bass," and then you surpassed me.
Oh no, man, no, that was awesome. No, thank you for that, man. That was super inspiring, and you definitely, it was important to get that like preview of what was to come, like studying with Ron and like New York scene and everything. Just hearing you talk about it, it was great.
It's
super inspiring.
It's great that you've followed that, and now you're do you have any other players that you would want to discuss that you're playing with? I mean, I've read your website, but
Oh, thanks. Yeah. You know what? Thank you for asking. There's actually a project that I co-lead called a cooperative trio with, do you know Miro Sprague and Jason Ennis?
Yeah,
They're also
yeah,
from the Pioneer, they're from Western Mass originally, both of them. And so Miro is a beautiful pianist, and Jason is a great guitar player. Uh, and Miro's based in LA now, but Jason's still in Pittsfield. Anyway, about 5 years ago, the three of us started playing together and playing each, putting on these concerts where we each play each other's original music. And most of our concerts have been in New England and maybe one or two things in New York. But we finally, last year, we recorded an album together, and we're just talking to labels right now and publicists and trying to come up with a strategy to put it out this year.
very
Yeah, we're
nice.
really proud of it. It's going to be a nice album. So yeah, you guys can look out for that. Probably in the fall, this summer or the fall, we're going to release it. So
Very nice.
yeah.
You know, I just did an interview with Justin K
Mm.
yesterday. I don't know if you know Randy K, the drummer.
I don't know if I do. Yeah.
Well, he played all around the Berkshires, you know.
Oh, wow.
And
Cool.
he originally played with like Paul Chambers and Jackie Byard and the
Damn. Wow.
Vanguard, like
That's crazy. Wow.
so I was interviewing him, and you know, we were discussing all the players, and you know,
Yeah.
I knew Jason from a long time ago. Actually, he used to
Right.
live like up the road from me.
Because did you live in Pittsfield? You did, right? In Pittsfield,
No,
or is
he lived with Connor, me, and up the road on Loose Road in Williamstown.
In
Yeah.
Williamstown. Right.
Yeah.
That's where you right.
Yeah,
That's
but
right.
you know, I know him. Yeah,
Totally. Yeah. So, and he plays this like Brazilian 7-string, classical guitar on a lot of the stuff we do. So it almost has a more of a chamber music feel. But he gets a beautiful sound out of that. And yeah, we have a lot of fun.
cool.
So,
Well, Marty, thank you so much for speaking with
thank you, man.
us.
I'm honored, man. Thank you for including me.
People can check out your music, MartyJaffeMusic.com.
That's right, man. Thank you. I appreciate that. Yep.
All right.
Thank you so
Well,
much.
good speaking to you.
You too, man. Talk to you soon.
I'll talk to you soon. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Yep.
Bye.
Bye-bye.